Hello PSI Gamer fans, and welcome back to Rimworld. We are continuing from where we left off last time, with McTodd doing some butchering before she heads off to bed. And in the early morning we receive a quest called Attack Work. We would have to take a shuttle to a bandit camp of 4 pirates, and take all of them out. And looking back on our conquest of all the bandit camps last episode, I think we could easily handle this. And so I accept the quest for the goodwill with the Empire. Flak vests are equipped, and then everybody gets onto the shuttle. The shuttle arrives at the bandit camp, and then everyone takes cover behind some rocks. The resulting fight is ended rather quickly, with only Tyson and Shepard receiving a minor injury, and so now we can take all the pirate stuff and get back in the shuttle. And one of the items we recovered from the pirate camp was a fire foam popper, which I will be putting in our hydroponics room so if any kind of fire breaks out, our food won't all burn up. We can also see that it's getting too warm in our food stockpile, and so Shepard will construct a cooler on it to keep all the food refrigerated. And the next day, Shepard will build a bit of a chimney for our cooler so that the exhaust from it doesn't warm up our other stockpile room. And then Shepard and Tyson will work together to give Lek's bedroom a stone-tiled floor. And because we're having some issues with power generation, Tyson will go drill some more steel and then use it to construct another wind turbine. Tyson will then go to smelt down some steel chunks at our smelter, and while he is doing this, we receive a quest called John's in the Sunblocker. An 18-year-old story writer named Johns is calling from nearby, and she wants to join us. However, if we allow her to do so, there will be a sunblocker machine that will appear on the map. And I actually think we can accept this quest since we don't actually need sunlight for anything, as we don't use solar panels and we do all of our farming inside. And so I accept Johns into our colony, and shortly afterwards the sunblocker appears. And if we take a look at John's stats, we can see that she's actually pretty good. She doesn't have any kind of combat skills, however, she does have 8 intellectual, and on top of that, she is a hard worker and a fast learner. And on top of all that, she's also a night owl, and so we can get research done in the middle of the night as well as during the day. The next day, Johns goes on an insulting spree due to her poor mood, and starts insulting people around the base. And in the early morning, we have a combat supplier showing up, and we will be selling them one old bolt-action rifle for $19. Shepard gets up in the morning and starts working on a bedroom for Johns, and while he is doing this, Johns, who is still in her insulting spree, gets into a fight with McTodd. And McTodd gets out of it with a bite wound on her leg. However, I think we know who the real winner of this fight was. Shepard will give Johns some medical attention, and then we have some more urgent business to attend to. There are tribespeople attacking us from multiple angles, so we'll have to prepare a defense to see if we can fight them off. And after a brief fight, we have successfully defended ourselves from the tribespeople. Later, Tyson is throwing a party, and at the same time, there is an exotic goods trade ship passing by, and so Lek will call them on the comms console. However, they don't have much that we can afford, and so the only trading we'll do will be selling off 2 pieces of neutroamine for $6. And then Lek will go to smelt down some steel so that Tyson and Shepard can spend the remainder of their day rearming all of our spike traps. However, Shepard will have to finish it on his own because Tyson goes on a food binge. A couple of days later, and we are now facing a manhunting pack of alpha beavers. And to avoid a potentially dangerous fight, we will just be closing our doors for a couple days so the alpha beavers can't get us. And right after the beavers show up, we also are being visited by a single person from the Civil Outlander Union. However, he is quickly murdered by the Alpha Beavers. And shortly afterwards, we receive a group of cargo pods containing some milk. And now that Tyson and Shepard have finished the walls to John's bedroom, we will be giving her a bed. And in addition to this, we will also be giving Lek a real bed, as she has been sleeping on a bedroll this whole time. And at this point, we will also be putting one heater in everyone's bedroom to prevent the -4 mood penalty for sleeping in the cold. And in the evening, we receive a trade offer from a nearby settlement. They would like to purchase 3 flak helmets from us, and in exchange, they will give us one of the items that is listed on this page. However, none of these items really appeal to me, and so I don't think we'll be doing this quest. However, we will be making the 3 flak helmets as we can afford it, and I think it's about time we upgraded our helmets to something more protective. Tyson gets to work on his first flak helmet, and while he is doing this, McTodd is going to get to work on another art piece that will be going in John's bedroom. Tyson finishes the first flak helmet, and it is of good quality, so it will be going to Shepard. And before Tyson can make the next flak helmet, he has to turn on the fabrication bench and make some more components because we have run out. We can also see that all the manhunting alpha beavers have starved to death, and so now it is safe to go outside again. Tyson then finishes another good quality flak helmet, and at the same time, McTodd finishes her normal quality sculpture. The sculpture will go in John's bedroom, and Tyson will get to wear the next flak helmet. The next day, Tyson finishes the last flak helmet, and it is of normal quality, so it will be going to Lek. A few days go by without anything interesting happening, aside from a transport pod crash, until Shepard decides to throw a party. And after the party is over, things go back to being pretty quiet until the next evening when a mechanoid cluster is landing to the northwest of our base. This mechanoid cluster doesn't have any kind of activator attached to it, and it doesn't have any long-term problem causers attached to it, so we can safely ignore it for now. And finally, 2 days after the mechanoid cluster lands, in the middle of the night, Johns finishes the research project for advanced fabrication. And if we look at the fabrication bench, we can see that we can now make our own advanced components as long as we have enough steel, plasteel, and gold. And the next research project we work on will be a bit of an odd one. We will be researching noble apparel so that we can make fancy clothing. Shepard will then construct some red lamps in everyone's bedroom, and then we receive another bad event. This time, there are pirates who have set up an outpost and are forcing the weather in our area to be a rainy thunderstorm. The rainy thunderstorm is not as bad as the foggy rain that we had last time this event happened, however, because the rainy thunderstorm will create more wind for our wind turbines, and the foggy rain had a much higher accuracy penalty to shooting, and so I think we could safely ignore this for now. And in the evening, Tyson finishes research on noble apparel, and that means we can get to work on a new crafting project. Before we get started on this project, however, we will do a bit of an upgrade in our workshop. We will first take apart our old tailor bench, and then in its place we will construct an electric one. And as Tyson is finishing up the construction of the tailor bench, we are being confronted with a manhunting pack of 34 chinchillas. And because there are many more chinchillas than we could realistically kill, we are just going to be closing our doors and staying inside so that they can't get to us. And then we will start prosthetics as our next research project. The following morning, we are being visited by some bulk goods traders. However, we will not have time to trade with them as they are about to engage in a bloody battle with the chinchillas. And though they suffer many casualties, the tribespeople do eventually win the battle. However, they are now leaving and we will not be able to trade with them. We can also see that 2 of the tribespeople are downed but not killed, and that means we can take them back to our base and give them medical attention in exchange for some goodwill. And Tyson will actually help with attending despite his low medical skill, as Shepard is not fast enough to save both of them. And now that all distractions have been taken care of, Tyson can get to work on what we've been trying to make this whole time, a human leather corset. Corsets are the most profitable clothing item in the game, and we currently have quite the abundance of human leather to work with, and so whenever Tyson isn't busy with anything else, I will be having him make human leather corsets. Later, Johns finishes the research project for prosthetics. Prosthetics are rather inefficient, so we won't be using any of them for ourselves. However, the research project is necessary to unlock the project for bionics. In the evening, Tyson finishes his first corset, and it being of good quality has a market value of $290. 2 days later, and we are being visited by another bulk goods trader, and so Lek will go to make a deal with them. Lek will sell them some human leather corsets, as well as some old clothing and useless leathers, and in exchange we will buy some chocolate, beer, and components, and end up with just over $400 in profit. Tai-san also finishes another corset while the traders are still visiting, and so Lek can go sell it to them for another $152. The next day, we can see that the two tribespeople that we rescued previously have both made it off of the map, and our relation with the tribespeople has increased from -40 to -5. And the rest of the evening is spent sewing, butchering, cleaning, and drilling. The following day, we receive a quest to build a monument. However, the monument would be 13 by 38 in size and would not fit anywhere in our base, so we will not be accepting this quest. And on the topic of quests, later in the day we receive a quest that we will be accepting. An acolyte of the Empire would like us to fight 4 man-hunting mega-sloths. I think we could easily handle it, and so I accept the quest for the goodwill and the advanced components. The mega-sloths will be here in 20 hours, but before that happens we finish researching bionic replacements. And so, if we can get some plasteel and advanced components, we can make very efficient body part replacements for our colonists. We then receive a psychic soothe for males, Tai-san finishes an advanced component at the fabrication bench, and finally the mega-sloths show up. Shepard will deconstruct one segment of the sandbags so that he can stand right inside the door, and then he'll open up the door, take some shots with his charge rifle, and then duck back inside and fix up the door. He will repeat this process for a couple of hours until all of the mega-sloths have been defeated. Shepard eventually manages to take down all of the mega-sloths, and then we receive our advanced components. And for some reason the next day, Johns decides to walk over one of our spike traps and takes damage from it. And so Shepard will take her back to her bedroom and give her some medical attention. And at this time, we are now being visited by another bulk goods trader, and so Lek will go trade with them. We will sell them 7 corsets for $1,095, and that is the extent of the trading we will do with these people. In the evening, Migtod receives a taming inspiration due to her high mood. However, there are no animals that she can tame on the map, so this inspiration is useless. The following evening, Johns can get back up, and for some reason she put on one of the corsets, so we force her to take it off. And because we now have 5 colonists, we are going to be constructing 3 new hydroponics basins, and moving the door in the kitchen down a few tiles so that the basins don't block any traffic. We also receive another monument quest, however this monument is similar in size to the last one, and so we will not be able to build it. And later in that day we can see that an Arctic wolf is hunting Migtod, and so she and Lek will work together to take it down. In the evening, Johns goes on an insulting spree again, and to prevent any bad mood penalties to all the colonists, I will designate her room to be a prison cell and have Lek escort her to her room to go back to bed. And once she is calmed down, we let her leave her room. We also will be starting research on precision rifling now that we're done with bionics. And then in the morning, we have another major threat to deal with, as we are being raided by 3 groups of mechanoids. Everyone lines up behind the sandbags, and Migtod stands by the door to prepare for the fight. And before the mechanoids arrive, Shepard will also construct a roof over the sandbags so that nobody has to stand in the rain. And we can see that all of our traps are used up by the Lancers and the Scyther, and so we will have to engage in a gunfight with 4 pikemen. And the resulting fight is resolved rather quickly. Migtod receives some bruises, however Lek is much less fortunate. One of the pikemen shot her during the combat, and she has lost the use of her left kidney. It's worse than losing a toe, however it still will not affect her very greatly. However, we should be on the lookout for a new kidney, as should this happen again and she lost her other kidney, she would die. Dr. Shepard tends to everyone's injuries, and Tyson gets to work on shredding the mechanoids down for their usable resources. And later on, McTodd finishes recovering from all her bruises, so aside from the missing kidney, everyone is fully recovered from the mechanoid raid. In the evening, there are cargo pods containing 21 simple meals. Johns finishes the research for precision rifling, and we are eventually going to start working on some higher tech projects. However, first I would like to complete research on carpet making. Johns finds some buried steel using the ground-penetrating scanner, and in anticipation for the carpets that we will have, McTodd will plant some cotton plants in our hydroponics basins. In the morning, Tyson starts working on a new flak vest, and when he finishes, it is of normal quality, and so Let can put it on to replace the old poor quality vest that she was previously wearing. Tyson will then make a new button-down shirt for Johns, as her current shirt has become tattered, and then he'll go back to the machining table and make another flak vest. In the evening, Johns finishes researching carpet making, and so we can start research on sterile materials. And in the morning, Tyson finishes his flak vest, and it ends up being of excellent quality. And because this is the most protective armor we own, it will be going to Shepard, as he is the most important colonist. McTodd can then put on Shepard's old flak vest, and then Johns will put on McTodd's old flak vest, and now everyone has a flak vest of at least a normal quality. And while this trading of flak vests is happening, Tyson is getting to work on an assault rifle. And early in the morning, Johns finishes researching sterile materials. And now that this project has been completed, it's about time we do a bit of a remodel of our research lab. Shepard will come in and tear up all the old stone tiles, and he will bring in steel and silver to replace them with sterile tiles. The sterile tiles will make the room cleaner, and therefore will give a bonus to research speed. And while this is all happening, Tyson will finish work on his assault rifle, and it will end up being excellent quality. And because he is the second best shooter in the colony, he will be the one who will be wielding it. And this means that his old SMG will go to Lek, and Lek's old SMG will go to Johns. And unfortunately, in the middle of the night, our batteries suffer a short circuit and light some of our cotton plants on fire. Luckily, Johns and Lek are both standing nearby and are able to put out the fire before it causes any serious damage to anything. And then the next morning, Shepard finishes building all of the sterile tiles, and we can see that when the room is completely sterile, it gives an extra 9% bonus to research speed. And at this time, there's also an exotic goods trade ship passing by, and so Lek will call them on the comms console to do some trading. And to these traders, we can sell our extra thrombohorn for $419, and then using some of this money, we will buy 28 units of gold, as gold is needed to produce advanced components. And now that our laboratory has been completely renovated, we can start our next research project, which will be Starflight Basics. We can also construct an orbital trade beacon in our armory to make future orbital trading more convenient. And the following morning, we can see that the cotton is ready to be harvested, and now we have more than enough cloth for our first two colonists, Shepard and McTodd, to receive a carpeted floor for their bedroom. And after about a day of work, Shepard and McTodd now have much more comfortable bedrooms. And to me, that seems like a good place to leave things off for this episode. We have made a great deal of progress today, both in terms of technology and in terms of making our base more comfortable. We have also recruited a new colonist, and we have started researching on Starflight Basics, which will eventually allow us to construct our own spaceship and win the game. As always, I'd like to thank you all for watching my video up to this point, and I'd like to encourage you to leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed my video. That being said, I will see you all next time. Goodbye.